Uh, Man, has any guys ever watched the news? We're a really informed church. Heavily informed. Every time I turn on my TV, man, somebody's lying to me. You notice that? That's what I was going to talk about for a second. Like Hillary, Donald Trump says it's a lying Hillary, right? And I was thinking about Hillary Clinton and how she just can't tell the truth really about anything, whether it matters or not. And then I was wondering why Hillary lies. And from what I've seen, and I don't know her personally, I mean we don't talk often, but I was wondering why she lies. And I think for Hillary, it's manipulation. I'm always trying to get ahead and serve my needs or whatever. And then I listen to Donald Trump, and I think everything he says is a lie too. And so you got a liar calling a liar, and it's like everything that he says is a lie. But I look at Donald Trump and I see it a little different. Like Donald Trump, as he's lying, he's lying because he's insecure. Like he's the most insecure man in America. And like narcissism, if you know people who are narcissistic, they are the most insecure people you could ever be around. And they're narcissistic because they have this need deep down to be liked, and they don't think anybody really likes them. And so when Donald Trump lies, he just lies to tell you what you want to hear so you'll like him. And he wants everybody to like him. So, and he does it in the exact opposite way you would think, listen to his message, that he wants to tick everybody off. But he doesn't. He's trying to get people to really like him because of an insecurity. So, he lies. Even we have Olympic swimmers that lie. Now, sometimes people lie because they've jacked up. Like, you messed up, and so I better tell something because I'm in trouble here, right? And so we lie out of fear, and so we lie, or in their case, maybe bend the truth or manipulate the truth to fit our need or whatever. And what I've found is I get disgusted. How many guys are disgusted watching this campaign this year? I'm thinking to myself as I watch TV, and you don't have to watch the news, man. Turn on your television, turn on the radio, turn on anything, and it just makes you sick. And my thinking is, this is our best? Like out of all the people in America, this is what we have to offer the world? And it makes me feel disgusted. Yeah, it makes me feel, though, like a little hopeless. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking about why I feel hopeless listening to people lie to me all the time. And it's not, guys, this isn't new. Like, politics is a lying game. Nobody ever does what they say they're going to do. It's just, these guys are real bad at not getting caught, But that's because lying creates insecurity. I have nothing that I can put my hope in or bank on, right? And so I thought about this. Have y'all ever used the term think about a rope, okay? And a rope, say you're going to hold your weight on it. You want that rope to have integrity, right? You want it to be dependable. You want to be able to trust in that rope. And at any place in any rope like that, there's going to be a place of failure, a point of failure, whether it's frayed or whatever. And one place where the integrity of that rope is compromised puts my life in danger and makes me insecure. Right? If I see frays in the rope, I'm going to say the integrity of that rope is compromised. I'm not going to hang on that rope, not at least until I lose a couple of pounds. Well, as I think about that, and I think about integrity, why it's so important in our society is integrity. The breakdown of integrity in our society takes away the security of our society. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to talk about the ways that this happens. But today, specifically, I want to talk about bearing false witness or lying. God gave Moses, when he went up on the mountain, the commandments to guide his people. Now, you wonder why God gives these commandments or laws or rules, and the reason was simple. God was there and his people were here. And there wasn't a Holy Spirit in the world convicting or convincing or talking to people. And so God knew that people would do as their nature had shown, and that would be that they would hurt themselves and harm each other in society. So God loved his children so much that he gave them guidelines, rules. He gave them laws. And he said that if you will follow these laws, and that if you will write them on your hearts, and that if you will teach them to your children, that your land, your time and your life in the land of the promise is going to be great. He said, but if you turn away from my laws, and you live according to your own will, then you're going to struggle, and death and hell and the grave, it's always going to be following you. So God's laws are truth, and we can depend on those, okay? That's important. But people didn't like that. And when you think about these laws, God said, he said, honor your father and your mother. Well, now, I know after living a few years that that's a better way to live than to not. That brings peace in our life. We're able to take guidance. We're able to have relationship. It's a good thing. God said, don't sleep with your neighbor's wife. Right? That's a good one. Like, I found that to be destructive, not just in marriage, but for the neighborhood. God said, don't have any other gods before me. All other gods other than the living God, they're known as what? Idols or false gods. False gods would be lying gods. They tell you something that they cannot back up. They're politicians. Other gods before me. Don't have other gods before me. This is a better way to live. Don't kill. Now, for at least one of the party, that's a really good one. Right? Don't kill. God could foresee that killing in society was not a better way for life to function. And we're glad about that one, right? Especially for everybody else. Take a Sabbath. That was one of God's laws. Like, work 6 days, and then on the seventh day, take a day set aside to rest. Now, my cardiologist says that's a good one. Like, that's healthy for us. We will do more work and be more productive in our lives. God knows how we're created. And if we just burn and burn and burn and burn, we burn out and we're of no good. But if we 6 days in a rest, 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 if we live in the rhythm of life that God created us to live in, it's better for us. But I always wondered why God said, don't lie. Because I have to admit that some lies are better on the surface, right? That these jeans make my butt look big. Now you have a crossroads. You could be a dead man of integrity, or a live man living with a little lie. So here's what you do in this situation is you don't look. Then you're not lying. You just say no. Those jeans make you look like you lost 15 pounds. Who knows? Right? Who knows? Lying, though, starts to break down our trust of each other. It gives us an insecurity and maybe all of these things that harm us. But I was looking and, I was talking about how God gave us these things. And in Proverbs 6, there's this, I got on a sheet of paper because, y'all get to look up there and then I'm behind. So Proverbs 6, chapter 6, verse 19. And this is a list of things that Solomon, who was a wise man and one of the wisest men that ever lived, he says this, that there are 6 things that the Lord hates. It's weird, huh? That God hates. But when you think about this, it says there are 6 things that God hates. 7 that are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among brothers. Now, like 3 of the things God hates has to do with integrity. Why does God hate lying? Another place in the Bible says God hates divorce. And a lot of people get really offended and really like, wow, man, bummed out or whatever, or just push off and say God doesn't care about me or doesn't love me anymore or whatever. But if you've been divorced, then you understand the pain and the struggle and the hurt and the tearing apart of your souls that it causes. And what I've found is that the things that God hates are the most harmful things to the people he loves. See, to generate hate, you have to have love. I'll put it to you this way. There is nothing in your life that you hate just for hating's sake. If you hate something, it's because you love something so much and this thing is endangering the thing you love. Think about it. It's the balance. It's the counterbalance to love. And so God has these things that he hates because of his passionate love for us. And God hates lying. And I think about how this works and how this got started. And remember back early in the story, in Genesis, whenever God was walking in the garden with his people. And guys, you have to understand that Eden, the word Eden literally means heaven. So God was in heaven and he had planted a garden in heaven. And in heaven was man and God were one and they were together. And they walked together and they shared life together. And then came a lie. Surely you won't die. Remember that lie? Surely you won't die. Eat this. Surely you won't die. Go this way. Surely you won't die. But in that instant, he says, the liar says to the humans, he says, see, God just doesn't want you to be like him, knowing all things good and evil. And so we believed the lie. Humanity bought the lie. And then lies became part of who we are, and everything was broken based on a lie. Trust was broken. Truth was stolen from humanity, causing God and humans to be divided. But that didn't last forever, right? Because God sent away a truth and a life to reconcile all things to him, and that was through Jesus. So God reconciles what was broken in the garden through Jesus. He was the way, the truth and a lie. And so we have truth and we have lies, and they started in the beginning. And for all of time, there has been truth and there has been lies. There has been people of integrity and people who destroy. And I want to look at this place, because what made me realize this is that the one thing in life that you can absolutely with all certainty depend on is God. That's it. Because if you depend on me, I'm going to let you down. If you depend on your husband or wife, they're going to let you down. If you depend on your friend, they're going to let you down. Everybody else in your life is going to let you down, but God will always be truthful to his word. Always. This, in Numbers chapter 23, Numbers 23:19, it says this. It says, God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. He has said and has he said and will not do it? Or has he spoken and will not fulfill it? Well, the answer is no. This writer in Hebrews, and we don't know who wrote Hebrews, but he's writing in Hebrews chapter 6, and he has this to say. He's writing to these people who are struggling with the Old Testament God, the God of the Hebrews, versus this new way under Jesus where all things have been reconciled. And so he's writing in Hebrews 6, and he says in verse 13, he says, "For when God made a promise to Abraham, since he had no one greater by whom to swear, he swore by himself, saying, 'Surely I will bless you and multiply you.' And thus Abraham, having patiently waited, obtained the promise. For people swear by something greater than themselves. In all their disputes, an oath is final for confirmation. So when God desired to show more convincingly to the heirs of the promise the unchangeable character of his purpose, he guaranteed it with an oath, so that by two unchangeable things, in which it is impossible for God to lie, we have fled for refuge. We have fled for refuge. We who have fled for refuge might have strong encouragement to hold fast to the hope set before us. We have this as a secure and steadfast anchor of the soul, a hope that enters into the inner place behind the curtain, where Jesus has gone as a forerunner on our behalf, having become a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek." So God, in verse 17, God shows himself through his unchangeable character and his promise, his guarantee with his oath, that two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie. What he's saying is, we can trust because God says it, we can bank on it. And if you think about the society we live in, how unstable things get, what is missing? It's the rock. It's the stability of God. Nobody believes in God, and if they do, they don't really know what that looks like. They don't trust God. If they believe in God, they don't live like He exists. And so what happens in society is you take the stability and the rock out of that, which is God, and you have left nothing but the father of lies. John chapter 8, verse 44 says, Jesus is talking to these people who are questioning Him, and He says, I'm only here doing the will of the one who sent me. And they said, well, we think you're controlled by a demon. And this is Jesus' response. I know you are, but what am I? No, that's... He says, you are of your father, the devil. That made him popular, like instant. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do the will of your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. And when he lies, he speaks out of his own character. For he is a liar and the father of lies. The one thing that I've found in my life is that you can't depend on liars. How many of you guys know people who lie, like just habitual liars? People lie in their life. They lie when the truth would suit them better. Now, for whatever reason people lie, the one thing I've found is that I can never trust that person. And when that person has power, like a boss or somebody high up in a company or a business, then it turns into this problem. When it happens in a marriage, then the fabric of the marriage is destroyed. And it takes, and you guys may have been through this, but how long does it take to build back that trust? Like, it's easy to say, oh, I'll never lie to you again, right? But what do we all think? I mean, we're like, well, now you're lying about that. The problem is that people lie. And when they lie, they take anything that is concrete and certain out. And when we can't trust, then there's no hope and no future. People, and I've read so many business things, man. People of integrity are starting to be the severe minority. There are, like, I read this thing in Forbes that said that the most important quality in a CEO is integrity over any ability to manage the company. Number one quality needed in a CEO is integrity, because integrity, it said in the article, that integrity flows down through the whole organization. Well, isn't that kind of true in life? How one lie leads to another lie, leads to another lie. And a lot of people think that I'm talking about like this lie, like it has to come out of your mouth. But so many times do we not live a lie? I mean, it's not just that we lie out of our mouths, but do we not live lies? Do we not walk around acting like something we're not? Like if we're with these people, we act this way. If we're with those people, we act that way. If we're with these people, we act that way. This writer, John, man, he goes so far, he says, if you do that, the truth is not in you. And you are not and cannot be a child of God. So what do we do? How do we deal with this? How do we deal with being lied to? How do we deal if we lie? Well, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but I got a feeling that we all lie. Maybe it's to make you look better. Maybe it's to avoid trouble. Maybe it's to get people to like you. Whatever it is, we all lie about something. Man, I've been to pastors' conferences, and I have never, ever, ever heard some pastor say, my church is running about 100. One time I went to this pastor's conference, and this guy asked me how it was going. I said, well, it's horrible. He's like, what's up? I said, the church is dying. He looked at me like, he didn't even know what to say. He just walked off like, never heard it before. Like you go there because you have to build up everything. Man, I don't have anything to build up, man. It is what it is, right? Why do you think I'm here? I'm not going to a pastor's conference to figure out what I'm doing right. So many times, man, we lie because we don't want people to think bad of us, when if we would tell the truth, people might want to step in and help us out. Your spouse knows you. Your kids, they know you. Stop lying to people. Let's tell the truth for a change. Why can't we do that? Well, we're broke. I mean, just say it. Like, we're broke. Why are we broke? Well, I'm lazy. I don't want to get a job. It's hilarious to me, man, how many excuses people have for not working. Like, just say it, man. Like, I'd rather not. Like, it takes all my time. Just say it. I mean, let the pieces fall, man. Just put it out there. I was actually reading this article on how to put together a resume, and it was telling you it's better to not tell the truth. Like they were saying, you have to bend your resume and make it into what job you're trying to get. So basically, you need to lie to get the job and then hurry and trust that you can work fast enough and hard enough to figure it out before they find out, right? Think how much stress we live under because we lie. Man, you know what peace there is to walk into a pastor's conference and tell the truth? Like, hey guys, I'm Todd. I'm probably the worst pastor in this whole place. I mean, like, I don't get it. I don't get what y'all are doing. I don't know how it works. I mean, just be honest, right? But God, it's so relieving because you're like, and here's the thing, man. Everybody's got websites. All you got to do is go, what church was that? I mean, it's easy. Like, we have a fact-checking service, don't we? You can't even lie on the internet anymore, man. Like, snoops, like, you can you can't lie about nothing. You get busted all the time about lying. Why, though? Why would we live that way? It's not a better way to live. It causes stress and tension in our lives. It makes us untrustworthy, a person that I can't depend on. And why would we want to live that way? And don't you want to be known as a person of integrity? Don't you want to be the person that everybody can depend on? I saw this quote this morning that said that if you want to live your life with such integrity that if somebody says you're lying, nobody will believe it. Do we live that way? Do we want to live that way? Lying becomes habitual. Like it turns into a habit. And we'll tell one lie, then we'll tell another lie, then we got to tell that lie to keep this lie going. And then all of a sudden, man, we lose sight. And then we're like, man, was that true or is that a lie? We don't even know if we were telling the truth or not because the lie has become truth for us. And then it starts to really be messed up, and it affects our kids, and our kids are lying, and then it's like, why are you lying? Well, Dad, you lie all the time. What do you mean? Well, the other night your boss called and you said you were sick, and you weren't sick, Dad, you were drunk. It's like, well, that's a form of sick, son. No, it's like, Dad is taking his medicine. No, it's like, we teach our kids to lie. It's like, my daughter don't want to go to school. I'm like, fine, don't go to school, but I'm not lying for you. Justice hated when I do that too. Like, fine, don't go to school, but will you write a note? No. I'll write a note and tell them you were home because you didn't want to go to school. Me and Celia were hard like that because we wouldn't lie. We wouldn't lie for our kids. How many of you got lying for your kids? Stop doing that. Don't lie for your kids. You're teaching your kids that it's okay to lie. Well, it's just bending the truth. Well, you want your kid lying to you? No, I don't like people lying to me. Well, then quit lying to other people. We can become people of integrity. Here's what I want you to do, though. And this is great because once you start lying, it's so hard to stop because it just keeps coming back. And here's something we can do. And this will tap into a deeper part of who we are, and we can truly become people of integrity. When you lie, and you know when you do because God stops you instantly and convicts you. I know that. I know that's true because He said it's true in His Word, and He's always true. Right? The next time you tell a lie and that check hits you, I want you to stop and ask yourself this. Why did I lie? What's wrong with me? What's broken inside of me that caused me to feel like I need to lie? Look who you lied to. Are you trying to impress that person? Are you insecure that that person wouldn't like you if you told them the truth? Are you in trouble with that person? Then you need to go back and figure out what you did wrong and stop doing that. You know what I mean? What if, and this is crazy, I know, this church wouldn't be crazy in here. What if we started to live a life that we didn't need to lie about? Wouldn't that just be better? Wouldn't it be better to live a life that's so pure and honest and truthful that we didn't have to lie about it? Maybe you lie and you make yourself better. Like, it's not lying, it's just a little embellishment. Why do we do that? Is your life not good enough? Really, man, if everybody got real honest, the whole life level that everybody lives on would be knocked down about 3 or 4 notches, right? Because they lie, you're trying to keep up with them, so you lie to make sure you're on the same level. You want to be countercultural, you want to get weird, just start saying the truth. I love being around kids. Man, Dad, you're bald. Dad, you're fat. I love you, Dad. You're so soft to lay on. Kids are great, man. If we would stop teaching them to lie, they can live their life as pure and innocent. But instead we teach them to live with falsehoods, put up walls, and keep people at a distance. You know what? You will never push people away if you're not a liar. If you're not putting on some kind of front. Because you don't have anything to hide. People can take you as they take you, or they can leave you. And if you can't deal with people leaving you, man, you got another issue you need to work on, but at least you know which one to work on. Like, we lie to ourselves so much, we start believing we don't even know what's wrong with us. We'll go like, I need to talk to a shrink. I'm going crazy. The shrink's like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, I don't know. I've lied to myself so long, I don't even know what's wrong. I don't know which issue to deal with. Probably say, deal with the lying first, and then we can find out what's wrong. Man, what if we became people of integrity? What if we just were just honest? Man, how's it going? Well, it sucks. Life's kicking me in the teeth. How are you? How are you? People be like, no, you're supposed to say it's great. It's good. How's the marriage? Awesome. I married the devil. I mean, don't say that. Like, you shouldn't say stuff like that. But, you don't just like walk around saying like everything's good, everything. Man, there's one person I can't trust, and that's the person who's got everything together. Like, because I know either you're lying about 90% of it. We're all a mess. I'm a mess. You're a mess. Everybody's a mess. Life is tough. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's like, I'm the only one, man, so I got to put on this front and act this certain way. No, everybody's life's jacked up. Look, if you ever get it together, you'll never need God. The one assurance you have that God is with you is that you're jacked up. When you got it all together, man, what's the point? I don't need Him, really. I need God to breathe. Like, I can mess up generally before my feet hit the floor in the morning. I battle with myself all day, every day. I don't have anything together. Man, I don't want everybody to know that. But lying's just not healthy, just telling everybody everything's cool, good, fine, wonderful. Like, I've been telling my wife everything was cool for years, and she told me when we were on vacation, she didn't like the way I was. Like, she knows everything's not okay with me. I'm like, but I didn't tell you. We live together. I don't like the way you are. I said, that's sweet. You got some stuff to work on. Thank you, baby. It's romantic. I got a list for you too, baby. How about that? Let me get my pen out. Never mind. I'm going to need a voice recorder or something. Can't type that fast. We're all flawed. But one of the things that makes us even more flawed is to just not admit the truth. I want to go back to the garden and I'm finished. The lie in the garden, the reason I say it's an epidemic and it started there is because the next thing that happened was Adam and Eve were cruising through the garden with fig leaves on. And God said, hey, guys, what's up? They've been hiding. And as you're hiding from God, it's like, I don't know. It's just God. I can see through bushes. It's like, where are you guys at? Why are you guys dressed like that? Well, we were naked. Who told you were naked? I didn't tell you were naked. Did you eat from the tree? It was the woman. You made him eat from the tree. It was the devil. Lying, placing blame. And it started and it's never stopped. And when we clothe ourselves in fig leaves, who we really are doesn't go away. And who God is can see through that. And it's time for us to be able to live free. Live in the truth. You ever wonder why Jesus says, I am the truth? And why you can't feel Jesus? I can't be lying and be of the truth. What if God was truth? Literally. What if God was truth? Wouldn't lying make us be avoiding God constantly? And isn't He the truth? It may be living a falsehood, living behind walls, living behind fig leaves, presenting ourselves as someone we're not. Isn't that kind of setting us apart from God? The one thing that we need for stability in our lives? See, it's not good for us. It's not good for us to not be people of integrity. There is a better way to live, man. I want to free you today. You're free. Go and tell the truth. You're free. Weights lifted. You are free to be honest. Become people of integrity. Now, some people aren't going to like that. I'll promise you that. I'll be like, there'll be people in your life go, man, could you please start lying again? It would really help some things out. We can live different. You want to be free? Yeah, it's better. It's better. All right, I'm finished.